We really missed you guys last week. We tried so hard to make the podcast happen last week. Nothing worked out. We're sorry. We missed you. I hope you missed us.
Just to give you some context to how hard we were working to try to give you a podcast, I was in Yellowstone, driving around in Yellowstone, trying to find a place that had enough reception that we could actually shoot a remote podcast. That didn't work out. The lighting, nothing worked out. So sorry, we missed you last week.
Yeah. But on top of that, which leads us into our first topic of the afternoon, is I had to meet the embargo for the Norton Atlas launch, which means I was up till 3:30 a.m. Monday night to make sure I got it done in time for the embargo to end. So yeah, it was a rough week last week. We missed you. We're glad you're back.
Let's talk about the Norton.
Let's talk about the Norton, Iceland.
I think you had a pretty epic trip. I went and watched the video. I watched it the other night.
Everybody should watch that video. I think it's a good video.
These are getting way more cinematic, Dave. These are very like epic grand tour style. Like there's a whole story to it and the scenery and stuff. So I had a ton of fun watching it, but as much as it is like, let's talk about the Norton and what it's for and what this Atlas can do and what it's not, what it isn't for and all that. I was like, I kind of want to go to Iceland now.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I had been to Iceland before, but everything's better on a motorcycle, right?
Yeah.
And my group, so we've talked about this before, but all of these press events, they happen in waves. And Norton is pushing really hard to try to get back into the limelight or back into the zeitgeist again. Sure. So 11 waves. And in each wave, 11 waves in each, I was there for 3 days, only rode for like a day. Each wave has 3 groups, right? And so as my group worked out, it was all women. There were only 3 men in my entire wave. It was Eric with Yami Noob. It was Freddie Dobbs. He's a YouTube channel out of England. I think I got his name right. Really great guy. And me. So they separated each of the men. And so we were each with 5 women in our group.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, and it was fantastic. It was amazing. But our wave, I think, had the worst weather of any of the waves. It was like sideways rain. It was 45 degrees. The wind was howling. I thought I was going to get pushed into the North Atlantic at one point. It was soggy and it was gorgeous and it was ethereal. It was an incredible experience. But I have to throw some credit out because in a previous podcast, I went off on a little tirade about don't buy Gore-Tex, right? And I was like, so I kind of felt like I had to put my money where my mouth was. And so I wore all of Alpinestars Drystar XF stuff, which is their house brand. It has a slightly lower waterproof rating and blah, blah, blah.
Well, it's slightly lower than the top-end Gore-Tex.
Yeah, it's slightly lower than the top-end Gore-Tex.
Higher than their regular Drystar.
Right. You have Drystar XF, and then Gore-Tex. And the Drystar XF, I think, is the best value. Just looking at the numbers. But I hadn't really tested it. This was probably one of the soggiest days of riding in my motorcycle career. It's like top 3 wettest days of riding. And I think it's probably the only time I've ridden in the rain all day where I was completely happy and content. I was warm, and I was dry, and I was cozy, and I am a big fan of Drystar XF, and I want to thank Alpinestars for making an outstanding product. If you're shopping for a waterproof gear, skip the Gore-Tex, get the Drystar XF, Iceland tested.
Well, we've even got a couple friends who just bought, I think, Drystar gear based on kind of some of your feedback even, really.
Yeah, I came back and they're like, how was the Drystar XF? And I was like, I've never been happier riding in the rain. And I currently own Gore-Tex. I've owned many Gore-Tex garments over the years. I was happier with the Drystar XF. Because it moves with you a little bit better.
Is it a little more, because the Gore-Tex doesn't stretch, basically.
It doesn't stretch. So the Gore-Tex stuff is like, sometimes it's like a little big, it's a little frumpy, it's kind of uncomfortable. And on a motorcycle, especially like on what we were doing where, press events have lots of U-turns, you're doing the camera shots and you're getting on and off the bike constantly. And the flexibility and the mobility that the Drystar XF gives you over Gore-Tex. And there were people there were other people in my group who were wearing not Drystar XF, who were not nearly as comfortable. One of the other people that I was palling around with, her channel is Rachel Moto. She just also bought a brand new Drystar XF kit from Alpinestars. It was her first, and she's like, I've never been happier. I didn't know riding in the rain could be this pleasant. So
nice.
Yeah. Kudos to Drystar XF.
You had a bit in there. You put a lot of like one-liners into your videos, which I
try really hard. I'm trying to be funny.
They are. Some of them are pretty funny. Some of them land very well. But you had one of them in there that it was, I'm the world's okayest off-road rider, I think.
Yeah.
I liked that line. But then you basically took this Norton, which, tell me about this Atlas a little bit more, because I know it's a parallel twin, so it's like it's a Manx chopped in half kind of idea. Is that?
No, it's actually not a Manx chopped in half. That's what I thought. That's what I assumed it would be. That's what the Touareg is to the V4s with Aprilia. Right. All of Aprilia's parallel twins are the front half. It's a completely different design. I'm hoping that we can get Brian on again to talk about it. He put a bunch of MotoGP technology into this little parallel twin to make it really revvy and fun. Now, in our world now, everything is a 270-degree parallel twin. It's basically, you have to look to find a motorcycle that's not a 270-degree parallel twin.
I'll talk about that for 1 second, because I know lots of people will comment and be like, oh my God, how boring, another 270-degree V-twin, or parallel twin rather. It's because from an engineering perspective, it's just the most practical solution for packaging. And if you're going to do a parallel twin, it's going to make the most sense almost always.
And it's crazy affordable because, think back 10 years and everybody was complaining about how expensive motorcycling had become. And because of all of these parallel twins, we now have a plethora of really fantastic motorcycle choices across the gamut in the $10,000 range. And it wasn't that long ago that everything was like 15 grand and above.
Yeah.
So, I don't have any hatred towards the parallel twin. I'm a little bored of them just because there's so many of them right now. This one had some character to it that made it more fun. One of which was he put a second oil pump in the sump, basically. So you have your normal oil pump that pumps oil around the piston rings and the skirts and everything for the lubrication. But what happens is the oil goes down below that. It drips down and it creates parasitic, loss, right? It's pushing through the vapor and you know more about it than I do.
I mean, they refer to it as windage. Basically, it's the fact that the crank and all the components have to basically mash through the oil bath every time they're cycling around. It's from what you explained in the video, they basically have almost like a dry sump-ish type of system where all of the excess oil that would normally just be sitting there gets pulled out more quickly and put into a separate chamber almost.
Yep.
To keep all of those components just moving through kind of a low pressure air pocket, almost a vacuum, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's exactly what Brian said. He said he was trying to create like a vacuum, which is what they do in the MotoGP engines. So for a 270-degree parallel twin, this thing was revvy and fun. Like a lot of them are they're torquey, right? And this one was definitely torquey. But a lot of the torque, like they get kind of like exasperated near the top of the rev range. This thing was, most of the parallel twins in this class are 650. This was 585 or whatever, 600 cc's. And it was really fun. It was a fun little motor. I had a hard time trying to separate, okay, I am in Iceland. I'm doing this amazing thing. They do that on purpose, right?
Yeah, let's not get too caught up in the beauty.
Let's not get caught up in the beauty of the moment. Be like, this is the most. So I tried really hard to be really more analytical with the bike. And, the bike it's not going to be a T7. Everybody thinks it's going to be a Tenere 7, and it's not. And I don't think it's trying to be. But I think for how most people ride these little adventure bikes, it has cast wheels, it's only a 19-inch front, it's not a 21, only has 7 inches of travel, blah, blah, blah. It made it for what we were doing, which was dirt roads and crappy little pavement roads, which are my favorite kind of pavement, like the crappy, crumbly little janky ones. I love those. The thing slayed, and it was fun to ride.
I saw that it's one of the strangest bikes from appearance-wise, because in the website and the press photos and the stuff you've shown me, I don't think it's overly attractive. But then when I saw the video and showing like the passing shots of the bike going by, I actually thought it looked really good when it was moving. It's
the hard part. Like Norton's going into what they're calling reductive design. They're trying to take as much away as they possibly can. And I've said this in a couple comments. If you commented on the video, I may have replied that, oh, they don't look all that awesome. And in photos, they don't look all that awesome. But when you see them in real life, and I understand most of us haven't seen one of these in real life.
Yeah, I haven't, yeah.
They look really good in real life. The headlights are always, even on the Manx R, the face is a little, I'm not sure, right? And then you even looking at the Atlas, which is even more...
sort of blocky kind of a deal.
Yeah, like it's more cyberpunk, right? It's a little more flat-nosed. In real life, it kind of looks cool, and you kind of it really grows on you fast. And then like the shapes on the side of it, I don't know. I love any company that puts this much thought and heart and desire into the aesthetic of a motorcycle. And Simon Skinner, who is their principal designer for Norton, he's been at both of the events, and the guy is passionate. You know, he's so excited. Like we talked about how, you know, if you look at the side of the tank, the two flutes go forward and down. And then he has another one that does the same thing. So it gives it this forward energy from the side. And
the part I like is the one, because it's kind of it looks like kind of a burnt orange sort of color.
It's a really pretty orange. Yeah.
It has this, from the tank, it swoops down under the seat and back.
Yeah.
It has kind of a fluid motion to it. Like, I'm talking way out of turn here. I'm not a designer at all.
No, but you know what you like. Yeah. You know what, and yeah, right? Like, and like design is a fun thing. We have some other bikes that I'm going to be reviewing that design-wise
are interesting.
Some choices were made, you know? And, you know, like to compare them to the Norton Atlas, which, man, like I think Simon Skinner said he's been working on this design, I think, for 6 years. Just like noodling on it and just trying to like really make it. And it shows when you see it in real life, you know? Like it's odd that it has like this really cool trellis frame and he covers it with this big aluminum thing that looks like a twin spar frame. And when I read that, I was like, why would you do that? But then when you see it in real life, you're like, oh, but it looks really good. And then the ergonomics of the tank, how you stand, it's right there where your legs go. It's... You know, yeah, I think they did a really great job with it. And the price point is going to be crazy good. Like 9.5 is what I'm guessing it's probably going to come in at.
We'll see what tariffs do to it, but
we'll see what tariffs do to it. But yeah 9.5. And then the Apex is the fancier version. It has like all the like
electronic suspension and stuff.
No, the Apex doesn't have electronic suspension, not on the Atlas, but you get the heated grips and the heated everything and you know all the adaptive stuff and the whatever and. But
when will we actually start seeing these in America?
You know, I thought we would start seeing them by now. I think they've just had problems getting through the dealer network really on board. I think it's, you know, we've seen so many new brands kind of crop up, you know, out of China and out of India and stuff like that. And I think my gut feeling is they didn't really ever say this. This is just me. A lot of dealers are a little gun shy.
Yep.
And so I think they're having a harder time get through the door. But I think once people see these things, and there's 2 more bikes coming this year, you know.
One of the things that's interesting, I talked with Troy down at Eurosports just recently, and he's a great guy, but he's very transparent and open about why they make some decisions that they have to. And they just got Aprilia recently, which is exciting for us because we all have Aprilias.
Yeah, we are biased.
But he's talked about floor space because all of the brands have requirements.
Right.
It's like, well,
we need 600 square feet. We need 800 square feet.
Or you're some of these brands that have a fleet of variants of a design and then colors of a design. Like,
yes,
you know, you think about some of these brands and if you boil them down, Honda does this, Triumph does this, a lot of them do this, where in reality, you've only got 6 bikes. You just doll them up in different styles.
Right.
It's the same engine.
And in some of them, it's not even 6. Some of them, it's only 4.
Yeah.
But they'll put different wheels on one and call it a different thing.
Yeah, or this one's got tall suspension. This one's got knobbly tires. And this one's got classic design.
But they have 2 engines and 2 chassis. And they make 6 bikes, right?
And but it's those brands that have all of these like variants. And they want 1,500 square feet of floor space. It's like, you're not going to get that. I don't have that. I think that's one of the holdups with some of these dealer network things, because I think we all intuitively think, well, you got space in the corner, just
put it in the corner. Over in the corner. Like how many bikes? Like Norton doesn't ask for that. Right?
Yeah, put 1 or 2 in the corner. Who cares? It just doesn't. There's always all these extra requirements beyond that.
Well, I actually called Troy I was in Spain and I went through the press briefing and they were like, we really want a dealer in Utah. And who do you think? And I'm like, well, I have a great relationship with Eurosports.
Yeah.
And so I called Troy and I was like, hey, and he's like, I would love to. We don't have the room. He's like, we would need to add another building. He's like, we just don't have the space. I can't add anybody right now.
Yep.
And, I don't think it was the answer he wanted to give. And I was sad and, there was a lot of sadness, but it's the motorcycle sales in Utah. We're in probably a lot of places that real estate's expensive and where do you put them all? And add to that some manufacturers like, hey, we don't want the other manufacturer anywhere near us. Right? So we have to have like a line of demarcation that's very clear that
there's
floor tiles are a different color here.
We have a couple of, so we've got in here in Utah, we're a bit spoiled for choice. We've got several really good dealerships.
Oh yeah. Like Young Power Sports is really
Young's great. They are like the Emporium style, right? It's one of everything, all of the different brands, KTM and Yamaha and Indian and everybody. Royal Enfield, the whole show.
Right, yeah, all of them.
But the Honda bit is actually a separate building.
Right.
And it's completely, you walk across a little like alleyway to get to it. And I think there's like tiers to being a Honda dealer.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want primo top tier status, it's a separate building. It's only Honda. That's all you sell there. It's all the dirt bikes and the generators and the everything, right?
Right. That's when it becomes Honda World.
Yes.
Right? So if you have a Honda World dealer where you are, that is like
That's what it is.
That's really what they're,
But, and it does make a difference because when you go to these places like, I was just at Young Power Sports a few weeks ago and we were up there. They had 3 triple Rs on the floor.
3 of them.
3 of them on the
I've
floor.
only seen like 2 of them in real life.
You
and
never
I work
see
with
these
Honda.
things. Yeah, I like these bikes a lot, actually. I kind of want one, but they had 3 of them on the floor and it's like, oh, that's because you've jumped through the hoops to be, at this top end for them. So anyway, I guess the point of that is like I skimmed through the comments of your Norton video. It's only a few days old, so it's not a lot of comments, but repeatedly I kept seeing, what about dealer network? What about dealer network? And that's the hurdle that these brands all have to overcome is I got to feel like I'm going to spend 20 grand. I'm going to be supported with this thing.
Right.
And that's one of the big hurdles.
Well, and you can see that in the views, right? Like Norton has been, for me, I've looked at Norton's willing or desire to work with me as like a gift, right?
Yeah.
That typically, I love working with Honda and I also like really great relationship. But by the time I review a Honda in America, it's probably been in Europe for a year or 2.
Yep.
Right. So look at that from a content standpoint. Like by the time you see my CB1000 SP video, it's been for sale for 3 years. Anybody, like you've had plenty of time to see that. Norton put me on a level playing field, except that there's no dealer network. And you can see that in the views. Like I'm doing this, you're probably not, but like I'll look at everybody else's, all the people I was there with, because I want to see if I cameo and I want to see how they saw it. Like Chase on 2 Wheels, he did a great video. Like how are they doing the same thing? And all of our videos in America are pretty low compared to the UK and India where the dealer network already exists. Yep. And I think that it shows in that like, oh, I would like to be excited about this, but I can't even buy it yet. You know?
And that's probably a big hurdle. And we'll see. Maybe we'll get kind of like a little like, you see kind of a bump once it becomes available.
I'm less worried about the view thing. It's just more of like it's an indicator of the dealer network is kind of damping people's excitement about the bike in America. Because I think there'd be a lot of people who would be more excited if they could if they had walked into a showroom, they saw it like, what is this? Because you see either of the ones that I've seen in real life and you're like, because they're definitely going after that whole like Aston Martin kind of look. And it's a good look, right? That British, understated, simple, right? And then to see a motorcycle like that, we're so used to now, like even the bike that's sitting behind you, there's lines and there's angles and there's things and there's stuff and there's widgets and hoobty-doos. And then you see the Norton and it's like an Aston Martin,
The part of the problem with like modern sport bike aesthetic is it's very like Batmobile aesthetic.
Right.
It's like edges and lines and cuts and grooves and vents and whatever. And it's like
wings.
It reminds me, in the car world, if you guys are into cars, Honda Civic has their Type R, which is like the...
I really like the Type R with all the wings. It looks like a freaking a Pokemon character. The old one.
The current gen is much more adult, right? It's like they're like, hey, yeah, we make a $50,000 front wheel drive sports car. Who can actually buy that thing? So it's much more toned down. It's a good car still, but it's much more toned down. The previous gen, if you go look this thing up, it has fake vents everywhere.
Right? Yeah.
And it looks very, very, it's almost like you try to take sport bike aesthetic and put it onto a car. And it's like, this is over the top.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
It's too much.
Well, one of my dear friends is in town, Greg Tata, who is like he's been in motorcycle design. He's worked for many of the major big brands. And we were talking about this because he works for Piaggio. He does a lot of work with them. And he's like, when they were designing the current Tuono, they were like, you got to make it a naked bike. You got to take all the things off. It has to be a naked bike. And he's like, he got frustrated because like our categories are a little nonsensical, especially in modern world because the electronics on them. Like a naked bike is a Royal Enfield, right? Or these historic brands. That's what a naked bike is. And he tried to push back and he goes, no, I don't want to make a naked bike. I want to make a Tuono, right? And it's like, that's the Tuono. I want to make a Tuono. Like, let it be its own thing. Let it be. And I think that would be a much better approach if all the manufacturers would do that. They say, we don't want to make a naked bike. We want to make a monster. We want to make a street fighter. We want to make a multistrada, right? Because there's been bikes through the history of like motorcycles that changed the class, that they created their own entity by not trying to be in a category. It's an adventure bike, it's a cruiser, it's a tour, it's a, and then we got power cruisers, and then we got like naked bikes. Basically, they were sport bikes that people crashed until the manufacturers started giving them to us like that anyway. And now we got a category. So, yeah.
Well, and I think where you're getting at is the Tuono is not, as far as naked bikes go, it's not very naked.
None of the naked bikes are
It's
very
got
naked.
quite a bit of fairing on it, actually, for a naked bike.
They all do.
Yeah.
To me, it's almost like if I were to draw the line, it would be 2 bars and clip bars.
Yeah, that's actually more a better way to look at it, yeah.
Yeah, because like I don't care how much fairing it is on it. I don't, like if it looks good, it looks good. Objectively, I don't really give a rip, but I prefer 2 bars. For the street, I prefer clip-ons for the track,
And I don't even think the Tuono has like less suspension travel or rather it doesn't have more suspension travel. It's the same as the RSV, I think.
No, you and I bought the Tuono. You bought the RSV from the same guy.
Yeah.
And I put clip-ons on it and we ride. You can't, we've shared parts.
Nobody knows the difference.
Nobody knows the difference.
Yeah.
It's the same motorcycle.
Yeah.
I mean, they might have different damping rates or they might have different cam.
But none of that's like outwardly visible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Right. The hard one is like the Monster and the Street Fighter. What's the difference? I don't know. I don't understand.
We had this debate recently where I was actually genuinely asking you the question, what is this Monster versus Street Fighter? And we didn't have a great answer.
We don't have an answer. I don't know the difference. One's angular, one's curvy, kind of. Maybe,
there you
go.
I mean, I know one's a little more like hotted up. It's the more like Panigale-esque.
Yeah, I mean, I would think the
that.
Street Fighter by its very name would be more aggressive.
But it seems like, why would you make 2 bikes that basically target the same buyer?
If I was working at Ducati, what I would say is the Street Fighter's the V4 and the Monster's the V2. Don't do a V2 Street Fighter. Don't do a V4 Monster.
I think we need to do another episode with a bit of planning of if I was the ruler of blank brand,
right? What would I
Here's
change?
what I would do. I think that might be a fun topic.
Yeah, that would be a lot of fun.
Give us some ideas on what brands you think are doing.
We could deep
They're
dive.
just missing a little bit.
I think all of them are missing something, but like we're biased and whatever. I think every brand out there, they've made there's no perfect brand and there's no perfect motorcycle.
Yeah.
There's all little missteps. So you're like, you were so close.
Speaking of brands, at the other end of the scale from Norton, do you follow CFMoto on social media?
Mm-hmm. I do indeed.
I am not buying a CFMoto anytime soon. I'm not overly biased towards CFMoto. They do a phenomenal job on social media.
They really do.
They've had multiple snippets and clips and whatever you call it of engineers from their group in China explaining why they made certain decisions with certain bikes.
It's so cool if you're not watching these.
It's so like eye-opening. So the one I just watched, their V4 Super Sport bike. It's going to be a World Superbike contender at some point. Not yet. It's not even in production yet. They've been like teasing this thing out for months and months, right? And the thing looks wild. It's cool. It has 2 mufflers on the side. So imagine your RSV4, but instead where the normal exhaust and exits, there's 2 mufflers. But then when you look at the V4, and he shows the exhaust system, there's the catalytic converter and the mid chamber and all this stuff. And it's like, but why 2 mufflers? Because basically it goes from 1 pipe into 2 pipes.
Right.
It's like, the heck's the point of that? Other than looks, what's the point? And he then pulls up the World Superbike rule book that then explains homologation requirements say if you want 2 exhausts for racing, it must have 2 exhausts from the factory. That's how it has to come. So they literally are building the street exhaust so then it opens up doors for them when they go racing with it.
I mean, that's kind of what homologation was ever supposed to be, right?
I just love that they're so transparent about it.
Yeah, I agree.
Right? Because you think about all the homologation stuff that BMW does for their M1000 and Ducati does for their Panigale. But it's all, you got to dig. You got to go find it out for yourself or here or there. They're like, no, guys, this is why we're doing it, obviously.
Yeah, but even like 2 weeks ago, you and I sat down and were like, okay, why is an exhaust system for an Aprilia significantly cheaper than the exhaust system for the Panigale? And it's because of the crazy firing order. And so the firing order makes the pipe plumbing on the Panigale
super messy,
unbelievably complicated. Right? And so like, oh my, because you got the scavenging and the pulses and you don't want the pulses to interfere with the other pulses. And then it like the efficiency, it's insane. And it's great fun. It's great fun.
Oh yeah, this is the stuff I love nerding out on. I love this part.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think CFMoto does a phenomenal job. If you're not following them on social media, they're worth checking out. I think they do a good job.
I have a call with CFMoto tomorrow. So
if you get a V4, Dave.
I know. Well, like, we'll see. Like, yeah, I kind of messed up. I was supposed to have a call with them on Friday. I was a day off because of the Atlas Iceland thing. I thought it was Thursday when it was Friday. I missed the call. So hopefully CFMoto is kind to me and we have a good meeting tomorrow.
I was on vacation all this whole past week. And
you thought yesterday was Sunday.
I hounded Dave. I was like, Dave, are we shooting? What's the deal, Dave? Why aren't we shooting? And I was getting no response. Thinking it was Sunday and it was actually Saturday. And
yeah, and I was like I was like shooting for the thing that you can't see over there that's probably 2 weeks video away.
He's like, bro, chill out. Like,
no, I don't think I even got it because I was out of cell range. Yeah, no, we can give that too. We have 2 Moto Marinis sitting behind Brian right now. They were also dropped off that I will be doing 2 reviews on the 2 of the new Moto Marinis. So some interesting stuff coming there too.
I have nothing to add about those.
I know it's look up Moto Marini. That's your homework. Moto
That was
Marini.
actually when I walked into the garage today.
You were like, what is this?
I looked over, I was like, what the heck are these?
No, and the Moto Marinis, Moto Marini has been around for a long time. It's a heritage
old
brand.
name,
It's an old name. They came out during like World War II, Mussolini era, Italy kind of thing. That fact is going to make
be part of the story.
Yeah, that fact is going to show up. But they've only they were bought out by a Chinese company. They're only now starting to come into America. When I was a kid, Moto Marini dirt bikes were all over the place. In the early 2000s, Moto Marini made what I thought was a better monster. It looked like a monster, and the googly-eyed Speed Triple had a love child, and it was stunning. And it's still pretty today, 25 years on. So Moto Marini's coming back. I have 2 of them sitting right there. And I've only ridden one of them, and I have a lot of good things to say about it. I really do. We'll
Coming
just leave
soon.
it at that. We'll just leave it at that.
Coming soon.
Yeah. Watch this space.
I want to anything else on the Norton?
No, I was just going to say, like, I've been so busy, Brian, that I have not been paying any attention to MotoGP. But there's been a lot of movement in MotoGP.
So we are on summer break right now, meaning they're all you're seeing of anybody on Instagram is all of the
Carol
MotoGP
Bagnaia
riders
is
with their shirts off.
Yeah, they're like,
and their pretty girlfriends. That's what
Right.
you're seeing on Instagram right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of bikini photos from all of their girlfriends or
They're either dressed up to the nines going out on the town, or they're shirtless showing you how fit they are and how fit
in Morocco or wherever they are. It's crazy. The prettiest people in the world.
So that's all you're getting from them right now. But I want to do I think now's a good time to do a little 2027 silly season update.
That's cool because I don't know anything what's going on. We can go through this and I can react.
So
sincerely.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that basically the 2027 MotoGP grid is settled.
Okay, cool.
So, some of these that I'm going to give you.
We were waiting on this because there was the whole drama between
the teams in Dorna.
Dorna, but that settled right before the end of summer break. And like we thought it was going to be crazy all summer long, but I think a lot of these things were happening and they were kind of in place until this domino fell and now everything fell all at once.
Well, and then there's a funny thing that the teams do where the teams will actually collaborate because Honda, let's say Honda's going to announce today, Yamaha will not also announce today. They'll wait till tomorrow. Everyone wants their kind of day in the sun.
Well, and I think that's fair. And
right?
I think that's kind of cool that they work together to do the same sort of thing.
So I've got my phone because I've got a list here for you because I don't want to mess this up. All right, so we'll start at the top. The least surprising team is Ducati Lenovo. So the factory Ducati.
We got Acosta and Marc Marquez.
and Acosta.
Yeah.
Right? And that one we've known for months.
Right.
What I think is maybe interesting about that is I will be surprised if they don't wind up with Red Bull sponsorship this year.
Which would be really cool. A Red Bull Ducati. I'm all in on that.
What's funny is we're like in the nth degree of nerdiness from MotoGP.
We're talking about our favorite sponsors.
Which sponsor do I think is going to sign?
I drink Red Bull because Red Bull supports our sport.
I would be surprised because both those athletes are Red Bull athletes. And Ducati has Monster money right now.
Right.
I would be...
But Monster's already shown up on the Aprilias, so...
Aprilia, yeah. So anyway, I would be surprised
this is how nerdy we
if
are.
we don't see some Red Bull banners on those Ducatis next year. We'll see. Aprilia, done and dusted. Bagnaia and Bezzecchi.
I'm really looking forward to this because those two are really good buddies. I think teamwork makes the dream work. That could be really interesting.
Bagnaia is on a 4-year contract. Bez is on a 2-year.
Which is nuts. A 4-year contract in MotoGP? I don't remember last time I've heard about that.
Especially given the fact that Bagnaia's had kind of a rough year and a half now. Right?
Yeah.
Since he won the championship. Since Mark showed up, basically, he's kind of been nowhere.
Yeah, well, he's definitely been second fiddle. We've been reading between the lines on this whole thing. My suspicion is that him and Gigi Dall'Igna are kind of butting heads. And they're like, Mark can do it. Why can't you do it? Why can't you be more like your sister? Kind of a thing. And I think like Pecco is just
question.
like I'm fine. Be free. I'm gonna go to Aprilia and
I
be
heard
free.
that plenty in my youth. So
So did I. Why can't you be more like yours? Yeah.
So what is interesting between those two teams, the part I love about it is of all of the teams on the grid, Aprilia and Ducati do not get along.
Right.
Those are the two teams that are probably the most animosity against one another. I think Aprilia is very proud of the fact that they have 2 Italians on their team, and Ducati has 2 Spaniards on their team.
That's gonna play out next year. That's gonna be kind of fun.
There's a little the amount of Italian pride, and I'm not Italian, but I can see how these guys handle this. There's very much like, oh, really? You had to go get Spaniards to be competitive, did you? Yeah.
But could you imagine? Let's just pin in that for just a second. America's a big place. It's roughly the size of Europe, give or take some distance, right? France is the size of Texas. Could you imagine? It's like the Texas motorcycle team is only going to hire Texans, and the Montana motorcycle team is only going to hire Montanans.
Right.
Like, it's a little...
I mean,
we look at them all as like they're all Europeans. Like,
yeah, I mean to us, but like internally within Italy, there's so much pride between those two brands,
right? Because it's almost like South Texas and North Texas.
Exactly. That's a better So it's NorCal and SoCal fighting.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. So anyway, I think that's a fun one. So let's see, Red Bull, the KTM factory team. This is
There's a lot happened here.
one.
I did hear some stuff about this.
So we've got signed and confirmed is Alex Marquez and Fabio Giannantonio.
Did you? Oh, interesting.
On the factory KTM.
This is new information to me. I didn't know Didja went to KTM. Really think that guy's a talent. Is he going to? This might be the last time we see Didja.
What I think is interesting is these two guys are both leaving satellite Ducati teams.
To KTM.
The satellite Ducati is a good bike.
Yeah.
It's a good bike.
Yeah.
These guys have both won races. It's a good bike to be on. And they both were willing to drop that to go be factory riders at what is obviously a struggling factory.
But perhaps let's try to be like silver lining on this. With Bajaj and India is unbelievably passionate about motorcycling. Is the 800 going to be like a complete fresh start for KTM? They were just kind of languishing to get through this year.
And I think that's the interesting part is that even with this, where there's clearly a hierarchy, there's Ducati and Aprilia, which are arguably the two best teams. I would say the Aprilia is the best bike right now.
Yeah. Ducati is still the best team.
But yeah, I would think Ducati is still the best factory.
Yeah.
Which is a weird thing to say, but I think if you follow GP, you would be like, yeah, of course.
Yeah, but if you were listening to this podcast from 10 years ago, you're like, these guys are...
Yeah. But KTM, which is a clearly struggling brand right now, in terms of MotoGP, I should say, the fact that the allure of being on a factory team and being the factory rider who gets to steer the direction of the bike is so appealing. And I'm sure the paycheck's not bad. I'm not saying that there's nothing to it. That they would both abandon ship and jump to KTM. I think that's really interesting.
Well, we looked at Marini did that too when he went to Honda. And we were like, oh, what's he thinking? But I think he's been the best thing for Honda, Luca Marini.
Yeah, and I would, in hindsight, I would also say that it was probably the best move for Marini too.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I think he's a good rider. He's talented. I think he was just going to get lost in the shuffle.
Right.
Until he switched teams. So
because I don't think Marini is an alien when it comes to riding skill, but I think his ability to articulate and understand and his aptitude on motorcycle physics and dynamics is pretty exceptional.
Well, and I don't think anybody looks at Luca Marini and is like, that guy's going to be a champion soon. I don't think anyone's thinking that.
Right. But listen to interviews with him. And
he's fantastic.
So you'll learn more about MotoGP through a Luca Marini interview than Jack Miller is the same way.
Surprisingly good.
You wouldn't think that. You think Jack Miller is just like some, hick from the backwoods of whatever, but he's unbelievably intelligent and the way he can articulate, he's right?
So on the next on the list here is the factory Honda team. So the worst kept secret ever is Fabio Quartararo is bailing on Yamaha to Honda. We knew that. He is going to be paired with either Davide Alonso, who has announced a Honda contract, or Diogo Moreira. Now, Diogo Moreira is on a Honda contract, but he's with LCR currently.
Right.
It's a sort of kind of a Honda decision whether they move Diogo up.
All right, let me ask you this. What decision would you make with that? Because you're dealing with two really, really talented Moto2 kids coming up. Who are you going to pair? Who are you going to pair with Quartararo, who's like the uncle with the knowledge?
I am a massive Davide Alonso fan.
Yeah, me too.
Watching him in Moto3 this season 24, when he won the championship and he stomped on everybody, his racecraft as a young rider, my gosh, you'd watch him. Moto3 is always a battle of 8 riders to the last lap, right? That's kind of how it always plays out. It's a pack until the very end.
So much passing.
And you'd watch all of these guys cutting each other's throats and knocking each other offline and all this stuff. And Davide's just kind of sitting there chilling, finding a safe spot to be.
And then goes.
And then 3 laps to go, boom, he's gone to the front and he makes a pass on the last lap if that's what it needs. And he would go and win the race. And you're like, dang it, every time we're in a bunch like a fight for the end,
patience.
he comes out in the front.
The patience. I think the question with him is, can he adapt to the big power? Right?
Yeah, he's definitely a smaller character for sure. The talent is huge. He has not really shown the talent in Moto 2 the way he did in Moto 3.
That's what makes me worry about him and that's common that you go from, and this is why I think Moto 3 needs to evolve, and I think it is evolving to. There's such a gap between what a Moto 3 bike is and a Moto 2 bike is that it's not a logical stepping.
Yeah, it's not a huge gap right now.
It's not shepherding the talent in the best way it could.
So if I'm HRC right now, I would put Diogo Moreira with Quartararo in the factory team, because Diogo's had a season of this already. Not that he is necessarily a more talented rider, but he's had a season of the whole circus.
Right.
And he has handled the pressure brilliantly.
Quite well.
He's been phenomenal this year.
And he's obviously shown he's not struggling on the bigger bikes. I would give Davide, the LCR team, a little less limelight, a little less attention, a little less pressure, and just let him develop. And imagine, his teammate would be Johan Zarco. Oh, perfect.
Talk Zen
about
master.
Like the uncle.
Oh,
right?
Man, that's who you want.
Yeah, no, that's what Honda needs to do. I agree.
I would move up. Moreira up with Quartararo for the factory teams. I think he's ready.
Yeah,
and I give Davide a year with Zarco.
A year with Zarco. With freaking,
that feels like a sitcom. Is what that is. A year with Zarco.
But what do they call him? Like he's the something monk. They give him a name that's
oh shoot, you're right.
Right. They give him like some sort of, because he is kind of like philosophical and like the bumps are backwards, man. Like he's kind of like that kind of character, which could be really good.
So anyway, that's the factory Honda team. Factory Yamaha is Jorge Martin Ogura.
I'm so bummed about Ogura because I think that's the last we're going to see of Ogura.
So I will give you an interesting thing to think about. Think of all of the MotoGP riders right now, who is the most aggressive rider? In terms of like riding style, not like passing and fighting. Who has the most like bull by the horns?
Oh, it's Acosta.
I think it's Martin. I watch Acosta handle the bike pretty well sometimes. When I watch Martin, he looks like he's in a boxing match with that.
You're right. Yeah, I think it's a toss up between the two, because I think Acosta is overriding that motorcycle to end tense, where Martin is on the best bike, but he's still kind of doing the same sort of thing, right?
He is so forceful on the front end. Martin, is so forceful on the front end of that bike,
on a bike that's known for a good front end.
And I think he's like targeted that as like, that's how I go fast on this bike, and he's super aggressive on the front end. But you watch him and it's bucking and it's weaving and it's pitching and I watch him like, man, you are in a fight every lap on that bike, which is weird. Because then I watch Ogura, who I think is the rider on the other end of the scale. I don't think we've seen a rider as smooth as Ogura since Lorenzo.
I agree. That's why I'm kind of bummed to see him. I would have loved to see him stick with the Aprilia for a little longer. Now, again, everything could change next year with the 850s, but Ogura, I want to see him at the front, because watching him is good. Like listening to music.
Favorite.
Like, oh my gosh.
But my point with that is, you're Yamaha. You have this joke of the lost in the desert.
Oh, Wando. It's like, you're like the Israelites wandering through the desert for 40 years.
That's Yamaha right now.
Yamaha is the Israelites wandering through the desert for 40 years. They are out there.
Yamaha.
They're waiting for manna from heaven. They don't know where they're going.
And now you just picked two new leaders, one that wants to go this way and he's positive, and one that wants to go this way.
Right.
You pick the two opposite ends of the scale for your factory team. Is it just like
to see which one shakes out?
I don't know, but I'll be stunned if it works, if I'm honest.
Oh my gosh.
So
anyway. I like both of them. It's been hard to like Martin this year, but Ogura has just been an inspiration this year, right?
So I had this conversation with Jerry, our friend of ours. MotoGP put out a video recently. It's like a 3-minute video talking about Ogura and his riding style. And I sent it to Jerry and we were texting about it. And it was basically, you look at some of these guys, and I think I talked about Martin. I was like, he looks like a boxer who's like looking for a fight at all times.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ogura looks like water being poured into a vase.
Yes.
He just is whatever he needs to be in every instance on the bike, and it doesn't look like he's even trying.
It's so great.
He's my favorite.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway,
it's who I want to ride more
exactly.
like.
Yeah. He's who we should
I don't want to ride more like Martin. I want to ride more like Ogura.
All right. So moving on. VR46 Ducati. Fermin Aldeguer.
Okay.
Oh, man. Sorry. Before I move on. Fermin Aldeguer. I'm going to get this wrong. I'm so sorry.
Oh, so that's why we pause to try to say the name right. His name I can't get right.
Well, I don't even know.
Aldeguer.
Here's my point on this on YouTube on the podcast here. You know who I'm talking about. I know who I'm talking about, and I am sorry that I can't say it the way you want me to
try. It's like I can hear it in my head, but I can't make my mouth make those sounds. Right? Is that what it feels like?
You know, I'm talking about Fermin.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, moving on. He is moving from Gresini to VR46.
It should be a pretty easy transition for him.
I think
and again, talented rider. Yeah.
I think if you're Italian, VR46 is like coming home. Right? That place is
I still have criticisms on VR46. I don't think it's a well-managed team.
Well, I agree with that part. I still think it's like coming home as an Italian.
Maybe that's really okay.
His teammate, it's not officially confirmed, but it is most likely Nicola Bulega from World Superbike.
Okay.
Who has earned it?
Well,
who has earned it?
And again, to see two World Superbike guys jump to MotoGP, that doesn't happen like ever.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah.
But I think Nicolo's earned it. I mean, he has mopped the floor with World Superbike.
Oh, yeah. No, like
it's not even close.
For sure. And the Pirelli knowledge, right?
He's been their test rider on the 850. Like, I think to not put him on a Ducati team would be a total miss by Ducati. So, looks like Fermin and Nicola Bulega. Gresini Ducati.
All these Ducatis. 6 Ducatis.
All right. 2 new riders for Gresini Ducati.
This
and I will openly say, I think outside of the factory teams, Gresini is the team to be on.
It'd be that or the factory Aprilia team. Like if I could
outside the factories.
Okay, but even like across the board.
Oh, okay.
Across the board, it would be the Aprilia or Gresini team is where like the team I would want to be on.
I think every time you see riders go to Gresini, they outperform where they should be.
The team elevates them. Yeah, they highlight a talent and compensate for weaknesses in a rider.
I think it's a very well-run team, very well, the crew chiefs are great, very well seasoned. Anyway, you've got Juan Mir.
Oh, okay.
Who
maybe, come on, buddy.
Maybe, right? I mean, he's talented.
You deserve it. You deserve a break.
And Daniel Holgado, who is Spanish coming from Moto2.
Yeah.
And he's great.
That's another one that everyone's excited about to see what he can do.
I think Daniel will be good.
I'm excited to see Mir on a Ducati. That's going to be...
I wonder when you sign Mir if part of the signing contract is a crash budget.
Yeah, but I'll bet. I'm going to argue that off the Honda, I don't think his style gels with the Honda.
No, it definitely doesn't.
And it's, maybe he doesn't gel with anything, but I think he's pushing on the Honda where others stop pushing. And that's why he crashes so much.
And I feel like when Mir was on Suzuki, this crashing thing has come about since he's been on Honda.
I agree. Like
he was not a
crasher
Suzuki.
On the Suzuki. Yeah.
He was, if anything, he was a little bit of like, his championship was probably the most similar to Nicky Hayden's championship.
Yeah, we're just kind of like, he won by making the fewest amount of mistakes. He was just always
there. He was always on the box. He was always on the podium. He didn't win all the races, but he
wasn't always exciting, but he was consistent, right? Like, yeah.
So we'll see. I'm excited to see what comes of it with him on Gresini. And Danny Holgado, I think has a little bit of a, I could be wrong. I think he's got a little bit of a chip on his shoulder because definitely Alonso gets so much limelight and so much attention. They're teammates right now in Moto2, but he beat him in Moto3. Now they're in Moto2 as teammates. I think he's got a little like something to prove. So I'm excited to see Holgado. All right. Trackhouse Aprilia.
Ooh.
So these seats are not... done, like
They're not done and
signed in
dusted.
pen.
They're not signed for. Okay.
But this is the going rumor, and it seems pretty strong. Enea Bastianini
I wouldn't do that.
and Raul Fernandez.
I wouldn't do that either.
Who would you put on those bikes? Because I would argue, I think at this point,
Fernandez more than Bastianini.
yeah, I would say I think Raul has earned it at this point.
Yeah.
He's earned another year.
Okay, he's earned another year. Okay, I'd give him that. And maybe I'm bitter because I wish Ogura had that seat, right? Because, yeah, who would I put there? I don't.
Well, we got a few more left. Well, maybe let's get through the rest of the list.
Okay,
so that we
okay.
But Bastianini's moving over there. He is a talent. He seems like a guy who shows up about 3 or 4 times a year.
Bastianini?
Yeah,
Maybe.
but like 3 times a year, you're like, dang, dude's
Like,
here
and
for
if
the
he
fight.
could bring it, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
But all season long, like I don't know. He seems like he's
seems
just on
to,
his,
like, when he shows up, when he brings it, it seems like he's just a disruptor of something else that's going on. And you're like, now? Today's the day? Bro? Like, come on.
So anyway, that's the Trackhouse Aprilia. I would argue that's a really dang good seat. The Trackhouse team seems to be
Yeah, I'm
incredibly
surprised those are
well-run.
two kind of like middling riders getting two really
I'm
great
with
seats.
you. I think that they should. I think Trackhouse could have gotten better riders. I'm with you.
Right.
I would
Like,
have,
and no, like, disrespect to Fernandez. You're right. He has earned another year, but there's more talent out there floating around.
so maybe we'll come back to that one. Let's move on. We're almost through the list here. So Tech 3 KTM, so the satellite KTM team. Luca Marini. He needed to go somewhere.
Yeah, and he deserves to be there.
Yeah, he should still
100%.
be in GP. I agree.
And maybe he'd be better on the Aprilia than... I'd rather have him on the Aprilia than Bastianini.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. And it sounds like the other Tech 3 seat is going to Senna Aegis out of Moto 2.
Okay, that's good. That seems very appropriate.
He's very talented. He's had a handful of races this year where he has just looked the part. Senna Aegis looks the part in a couple of times. He's young and he's still learning, so he might get there. I also think there's a little bit of passport going on here.
Yeah,
He's Australian,
right.
and we're losing Jack Miller.
I don't want to lose Jack Miller. I'm really not happy about that.
I don't want it either, Dave, but
But it has to happen.
But
It has to happen.
I actually think the biggest thing that pushed Jack Miller out is finally getting Senna Aegis in, because there's still an Australian to cheer for.
Right. Yeah.
So
Jack
anyway,
is going to be a loss. I hope he goes to World Superbike and just slays.
he's going to factory Yamaha in World Superbike.
Oh, so he's going to kill. He's going to be...
Baby, that bike's not very competitive right now.
Poor Yamaha. What happened to
Yeah,
Yamaha?
what the heck happened? They were like at the top of everything
For
a few
long
years
time.
ago.
A long time. Yamaha was so dominant.
All right, so LCR Honda, we talked about this already. It's Johan Zarco and Diogo Moreira, or maybe potentially Davide Alonso and Diogo switch places. But Johan keeps his ride, even though he has what has to be described as the most demolished knee in all of MotoGP. After that crazy crash where he got tangled. We'll see if he hasn't come back yet even, but hopefully he still comes back later this year. And then the last team, Pramac Yamaha, Top Rack, sticking around, it sounds like. And then Ivan Guevara, sorry. Izan. I feel like they pronounce it as Ivan, though, whenever I hear him on TV. And I'm positive some in the comments will correct me.
Yeah, please do.
So
like, we're not trying
it's
to be like...
Izan, but I think they call it Ivan, basically. Guevara. He's coming out of Moto 2, Spanish kid, very talented. What this means, though, is Jack Miller's out.
Yeah.
Probably going to World Superbike on a factory Yamaha. It means Brad Binder's out.
Yeah. Brad Binder seems like he was looking for a way out anyway.
He is I would be surprised if he doesn't wind up in World Superbike somewhere.
I think he would do amazing.
He's too talented not to.
He's crazy talented. He's just been on a middling bike that's been dealt with a lot of challenges.
Yeah. Alex Rins. No, I haven't heard anything about where he's going to wind up yet.
I think he has lost the love for it, if I'm being honest. You look at how he rides, you look at his... I think he's... I think he's ready to move on to something else.
I think his body's giving up on him more than anything.
Yeah, he's been beat.
He still walks with a limp ever since his crazy crash in Mugello where he busted up his leg real bad.
Yep. I don't know how you ride a MotoGP bike with a leg that's in that much pain.
Franco Morbidelli, I think he's just going to go play a sitar in a field.
I kind of hope I think that's where his heart is.
Do Beatles covers at dive bars in Italy. I don't know what he's going to do.
I think he should have left last year. And it's like, no disrespect to the guy. Like, you make it to this level, but like, make room for the kids. And that's like the big picture I'm taking from this list you've gone through me, is how many Moto2 talents are coming in. And that's exciting. That's really exciting.
The other one that is leaving is Maverick Vinales.
Yeah, he's said that.
I think he might retire.
I've said it for years. Go be a test rider, Maverick.
He'd be brilliant at that.
He'd be exceptional because he's so fast when conditions are calm. So put him in a calm environment and let him just do great things.
If they gave out points for winter testing, he'd be like the 9-time world champion.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, he's so talented. But again, he's emotional. He's reactive. He doesn't deal with stress. So put him in an environment where he can excel. I really wish he would just go be a test rider instead of just retiring. So but, like he has enough money. Like, go do what you want to do, man.
He's been in factory teams for a long time.
Yeah.
So I think he's well paid. So the one name that I haven't mentioned to you on this list is Manu Gonzalez, who is leading the Moto2 championship right now by like 70 points.
And where are they going to put him?
He's dusting the field. I don't think he's going to get a ride.
What? With all these Moto2, that's who needs to go to Aprilia, not Bastianini.
He's crushing the field, and I don't think he's going to get a ride because my theory is for two reasons. One, this is his 4th season in Moto2, and we have the MotoGP circus has a weird fascination with getting the absolute youngest talent they can.
So you get the most years out of him in MotoGP.
But it's nonsense because none of these guys stay in MotoGP until the actual end of their careers, right? Like
once in a blue moon, you get the Marquez or the Valentino Rossi's or the whatever. But most of them are gone by their mid-30s.
Exactly. And that's like, so what if he's 23 instead of 20? Who cares?
Right. I would agree. And like, seriously, like he should get the Bastianini seat on Aprilia.
So Manu Gonzalez, the other problem he has going against him is he's Spanish. And
there's
Liberty,
a gazillion Spanish
there's
kids.
Too many Spaniards already.
Yeah.
There's already way too many for what is a tiny market for Liberty Media. They're trying to get out of Spain and Italy. They're trying to get out to the rest of the world. Yeah, Spain's into bikes. We got it. Yeah. They're trying to get branched out.
France. Can we get France? Well, India? Come on. Where's India?
Malaysia, India, China. Yeah, they love to get any of these types of countries for the riders. So anyway, I think it is a shame and it's unfortunate because we are all going to miss out because Manu, who's extremely talented and fast, obviously, isn't going to be in GP because he doesn't have the right passport.
I don't even understand the logic in this because Bastianini is... 3 races, he shows up a year, you know.
I'm with you.
And like, okay, so what? He's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think I would agree. I would dump Bastianini in Trackhouse and put Manu Gonzalez.
And think about like, the talent that would bring to Aprilia, like to have that, you know, like
why not have another rookie?
My gosh. Like Fernandez isn't a rookie. Like he's 3 years. This is probably
3 or 4 years now.
Yeah, and Fernandez, like I'd be surprised if he makes it more than a year or two from here. Like he's
I think the bike is flattering him.
Yeah, I agree. I would agree. Yeah, you put him on a Honda, you put him on you put him on a KTM.
He's out already.
He's right. Oh. But oh my gosh, Bastianini.
Yeah.
Like, is he going to be the guy we make fun of all next year? I don't know. He just disappears into the back. You don't even think about him.
Yeah, I don't think much about him.
Morbidelli's just the guy who chops the throttle at the worst possible moment. And you're like, dude. And so he's getting attention that way. That's not how to put your sponsors on camera. But like, oh my gosh.
It's not just because they have the best bike this year. It's because they have the best process.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to get a little philosophical because there's a lot of depth in what you just said there. Excuse me, my bias is I think in riding and in life and in engineering and in racing, you have to be adaptable, right? Like everyone assumes like, oh, the racetrack's so easy, it's consistent every single time. No, it's not at all, right? It's so you have to be adaptable. And I think there's a cultural thing there too. And motorcycling struggles with culture, right? The Japanese, they still have their process and they're like, well, this is our process. This is how we got here. We're not willing to change our process. We see that in the motorcycle as a whole. Like we have this obsession with heritage brands, and I'm not like corking on heritage brands like at our, for riding on the street, get what you like. But it's interesting to me that in Europe we have Aprilia and Ducati and KTM, and in America we have Harley and Janus and Indy. I don't even want to talk about them because they kind of made me mad. But there's no innovation happening in American motorcycling whatsoever. It's all catch up. And that's a cultural thing. It's not a lack of knowledge. It's not a lack of aptitude or intelligence. It's a cultural issue. And then you have the lack of adaptability. You're not willing to adapt. This is how we've always done it. Yep. And I think we're seeing MotoGP as this microcosm of it. And so to your point, what we're looking at is, like Ducati was a joke brand forever. I was riding Ducati motorcycles and people were like, you're an idiot. I can't believe you ride that thing out of the valley. And I was riding it all over the Western United States, right? But they're moving forward and the other ones aren't. And so, yeah, I think you're 100% right. Process is important. Like we talk about riding technique. If you're blowing your apexes every single corner, I can't help you with anything else because there's no consistency to build off of. Right. I can't tell you like how you broke into that corner was better or worse because you didn't hit your apex. There was, like you couldn't even meet that goal. So how do I help you improve? Yeah, your posture was great, but you were 6 feet off your, and this is all a microcosm of what we're seeing in all these race teams. I think it's a great argument made there, Brian. I think that was a fun podcast. Hope we made up for missing last week. Yeah, summer break. We had to do a summer break too. Thanks so much for hanging out with us today. Lots of exciting things coming. All right, cheers.